Well, this was a visit that I'd actually organised quite a while ago, but it's particularly poignant being here a day after we heard the news about the horrific incident in Golders Green. Ambulances just like these ones from Hatzola set on fire are now being investigated by anti-terrorist police. I am disgusted by that attack, and I am showing solidarity with the Jewish community, but also wanting to understand more about what the community is experiencing. We are seeing a huge rise in crimes against Jewish people, not just what we saw yesterday. You'll remember that horrific attack in Manchester in Heaton Park, 2 people murdered in a synagogue. We're seeing a rise in attacks on Jewish businesses, even businesses that are not necessarily tied to Israel, like Gale's Bakery, being attacked by all sorts of people. What I want people to know is that the Conservative Party says no to this. We need moral clarity. We need to be able to show that we can protect Jewish communities who have had a sanctuary in Britain for centuries. I mean, the synagogue I was in this morning had been there since the 1700s. That's what we want people to understand. I think there are many things that are behind that rise. I remember in 2017 when the Labour Party was investigated by the Equality and Human Rights Commission. There's a lot of misinformation about Jewish people. We see it on the news. We see all sorts of memes. Anti-Zionism is being used as a cover for antisemitism. We've also seen people who come from countries where attacks against Jewish people are rife, perhaps even part of some cultures. They are here now. We need to tackle that in a much stronger way than we have done before. I remember after October 7th, we saw a huge rise in attacks on Jewish people. We saw marches which initially were allowed because they were seen to be protests about the war. Now we see them as really a cover for intimidation against Jewish people. We should look to ban those sorts of marches that intimidate. Anything to do with inciting violence in the public sector in particular, where people are seen to share information that incites violence and attacks against Jews, they need to lose their jobs. We need to get a lot more serious about tackling this now. The Iranian regime has always posed a threat to people in the UK. I think it's actually quite sad. A lot of people don't know how bad it is and how we have been at risk for a very long time. The head of MI5, I think, has spoken about multiple terrorist plots sponsored by the Iranian regime on our soil. We saw a few weeks ago people from Iran arrested for spying, specifically on Jewish communities in that instance, but they're not the only ones who are under threat. We've seen Iran fire missiles at sovereign British territory in Cyprus, where we have bases with British servicemen and women. We should be very worried about what this regime does to its own people, sponsoring terrorism around the world. Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas, all Iran sponsored. It's a huge threat to the UK, and we should all be alive to that and make sure that we do everything we can to defend ourselves. We don't want to see anything that impacts people's energy prices, and I've been very consistent that our Prime Minister needs to have a plan. We have a cheap power plan that reduces people's energy bills by 20%. It scraps Ed Miliband's crazy taxes, which are on all of our bills. Many people don't realise. It also reduces bills for businesses. We need to drill our own oil in the North Sea. It is completely crazy. The Labour have stopped drilling in the North Sea, and we need to stop the rise in fuel duty, which is coming. We froze fuel duty for 14 years. In fact, in some years we even cut it. Labour wants to increase it. This is mad. We need to start thinking about how to make people's lives better. But when it comes to my stance, I've been very consistent. If people are firing on British bases, we need to make sure that we can protect those bases. That's what I asked the Prime Minister to do. I also asked him to let the US use our air bases. The Prime Minister initially said no, and then he said yes. So he's come around to my position. The argument is wrong. The correct thing is that the gas that is drilled in the North Sea is used in the UK. And actually quite a lot of the oil that comes to the UK is sent away for refining and then brought back. Why is it sent away for refining? Because we've lost our refining capability. Why has that happened? Because refining facilities like Grangemouth are being closed by Labour. Labour is deindustrialising the UK. It is making our household bills more expensive, and we are the only party that is actually thinking about what to do and how to do it. We can fix our energy issues. We can create energy independence. We can reduce people's bills. But we need to have a government that actually cares. And what you can see from what Ed Miliband said to the Labour Party yesterday is that he doesn't care. He doesn't care how expensive it is for households. He doesn't care how expensive it is for businesses. This is an ideological pursuit. He's going to keep doing it since the last time he was Energy Secretary. He's going to keep doing these things again and again. And this is why it is important that people vote Conservative at the next elections, because it's the only way to send a message to Labour that they've got the wrong plans. So what we know is that anything that the government is doing in terms of giving people money is simply coming from other taxpayers. Right now, we know Labour is most focused on people on benefits. In fact, I've started calling them the welfare party. They're not the Labour Party. That's what they're doing. Our plan actually helps everyone. You don't need to keep borrowing money or taxing people in order to help with bills. You can actually cut taxes like the ones that are on all our energy bills in order to reduce prices for everyone. That's the best way to go. What Rachel Reeves has is not a plan, it's just yet more benefits targeted at people who they think are likely to vote for them. So I think the government needs to move beyond words to action. We are seeing an increase in attacks on Jewish people, Jewish community, Jewish businesses, and it is not enough just to offer to step up security. That's barely the first step. What I want to see is sanctions against people who are inciting violence against Jewish people, inciting hatred against Jewish people. In the public sector in particular, where the government does have levers, I've heard stories about medical staff refusing to treat Jewish people. They should lose their jobs. They should be sacked. But we also need to do something about people coming into our country from cultures where there is, a history of hatred against Jews. This is one of the reasons why we have already toughened up our immigration policy, saying that we will leave the ECHR. We have a comprehensive borders plan that will deal with this. We need to look at every single cause, not just the symptoms, and if we address that, then we will be able to deal with anti-Semitism in the UK. What we see with targeted support is taxes on other people to pay for support to others. This is Labour's playbook. They keep raising taxes on everyone else to give benefits. There is a much better thing that they could do, which is to scrap the taxes on household energy bills. These are the green taxes which Ed Miliband put on all our energy bills, both households and business and industry. It's deindustrializing our country. It's making energy far too expensive. The other thing she could do is scrap her planned rise on fuel duty, which is coming in a few months. It's completely crazy to be increasing fuel duty at this time. And let's drill our own oil and gas in the North Sea. It's nuts that we are importing oil and gas from countries drilling in the very same North Sea basin. Keir Starmer blames the Conservatives for everything. He's been in power for nearly 2 years and he still doesn't know what he's going to do. The fact is, in 1989, defence spending went down, and it went down every single year under both Labour, Conservative and even Liberal Democrat coalition governments until 2022, when we started increasing it again. People thought there would be peace. There was there was an entente cordiale effectively with Russia, with China. The world is changing, so let's start spending more on defence. And let's be clear, when the war in Ukraine started, Britain was ready. The Conservative government was ready. We sent supplies and munitions to support Ukraine. We could see it coming. Keir Starmer has been caught yet again with his pants down, not being prepared, not knowing what's coming, not having any answers except sticking his head in the sand. He has no plans whatsoever. It's very cheeky of him to want to blame Conservatives. He should be looking in the mirror and asking what he can do.
You didn't see that.
This is solid core, and you can see how we use other people's premises to store the vehicle, which is how it all happened in Northwest.
Guys, if we want to set up just here to start with.
All we'll do is something different, no boardroom.
Okay, fine.
The police and Solar. That's my role.
So,
Yeah, well, I might have to just circulate it around.
I'm not sure how many you can get on there.
5 minutes. By the time they arrived, his father unfortunately make it. But he had no clue.
what year was this?
1979.
1979.
That's when we started.
Before I was born.
We know what to do because we learned first aid. And then they realized that over the years it's not enough. They bought oxygen. And then over London, they can't afford to shut. But we did.
So how do you link in with local hospitals and with the police? Because this is volunteer led.
Correct.
So how does it
So the
all
way it
work?
works
So
is-
someone calls 999. When do they get help?
So the way it works is because we're community based, we can arrive at, we will attend a call if it's a critical call, critical category A, we'll try to be
Precisely,
there
we have a
within 2
designated
minutes.
number.
Okay. Oh, you have a
Yes.
dedicated number.
It doesn't go through the 999.
Right, I see. And it serves the whole community. It's
Everybody.
not just for.
Catchment area.
It's not just for
Catchment. It
Jewish.
works with catchment.
Jewish,
for
non-Jewish, we don't
Jewish
differentiate.
So we get
Right.
daily
Gender.
calls from the police, we get daily calls from the local GPs, we get called by the hospitals, some of the urgent transports we do, and it's all voluntary. So who are our volunteers? The volunteers are all people who have jobs. The lead is from London Ambulance,
Right.
our trainers are from London Ambulance, and work very closely with them.
And is it only men who work as volunteers, or is it
No.
be anybody?
It can be anybody,
Right.
mainly men.
Volunteer.
The
Volunteer.
responders.
Right.
The women's doing sort of the call taking,
Right.
logistics, office work, background. Most of our women are mothers at home. It's just difficult for them to leave the house. And
Okay.
When the call goes out to the local number, it'll ring in every single house that's got a phone.
Oh, I see.
Whoever's on duty picks
Will
up
be
the
able to
call,
pick up.
dispatch 2 members direct to the
And do
call.
you? But you're Stamford Hill only.
So we were
Well,
the first.
Anton and
Have a different
Correct,
number.
correct,
I
yeah.
see. And then that's
Used
a
to be the
different.
same number, but we split up because for compliance purposes, we all got the same concept, but we compliance purposes.
we work in partnerships. We do
Okay.
training together, and we buy stuff together. Blankets and gum together, all the kind of stuff.
Okay.
we do.
So we have 48 volunteers
Just here.
just for this
Yes,
research,
that's
and
a lot.
16 out of them are paramedics, so they've all been in the university trained. And we have 20 dispatchers, so this works in the rota, so they pick up the phone 24/7, and there's no such thing as Sabbath, Bast.
forehead collapsed. I was there in under a minute. I happened to be just a few doors away. We got the call on the radio, and we resuscitated him. Yeah? He's now a married man.
You see the person walking on
involved.
the street that you've
It's not
saved.
long, it's a patient, someone that you know.
Well, this has been really, really wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming
Over
down.
here, Kemi. Lovely.
And then just this way.
Yes, yes, indeed.
you can see since you come in 10 minutes ago, it's already tripled in size. The amount of people. If you stay another half an hour, the whole community
I
will be
know
out. Yeah.
that's it's a very special thing.
Yeah, 100%.